Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway. Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, I'm Adam Alexander. Trucks rolling off the grid. And as we watch them get set to do their thing, we deliver our Camping World track description and race analysis for tonight's season finale.
The track description, Adam, we talked about it, it's difficult. The banks are progressively banked. You can run low, but the banking is less. You go up high, it's further around, and the wall's right there. These boys will be running into the wall a lot tonight.
They want that 20-degree banking, and they're going to use that.
We're going to have probably 3 pit stops. Tires fall off here. We saw some strategy in the past where people got tires late, and it propelled them to the win, so we can see that too.
And NASCAR gave them an extra set of tires. They could actually stop 4 times to put tires on.
Perhaps an early headline. Ross Chastain, haven't seen him a lot this season. Great qualifying effort for him earlier today. Scheduled to start third, and with that, we give you our Ford starting lineup for Kyle Larson's 2nd career pole. Ryan Blaney, 5th front row start of the season.
What an outstanding run for Ross Chastain that we saw him sitting on pit road. 3rd place qualifying effort.
There's our championship point leader, Matt Crafton. Ty Dillon alongside Darrell Wallace Jr. Phil, can you get a hold of him?
Let's see if we can talk to Bubba Wallace. Hey, Bubba Wallace, Phil Parsons up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha, bud.
Great season this year, man. 3 wins already. We showed a little bit of video of you qualifying. We talk about how difficult and challenging this racetrack is. Got a little bit against the wall during qualifying. How are you guys going to keep those trucks off that wall when you're going to be running inches away?
Man, it's hard to do it, but you know, it's kind of like Eldora, just a little bit faster. So we really worked on it here in practice. It's been, like you said, a good season. So we'll get after it tonight, be smart, and get it up there on the top and let it ride that air cushion. But again, we're doing this for Alejandro Tricones tonight. You know, Eddie, our engineer, she's riding with us. So it's been a fun journey. So ready to get this thing on the road, get us another win.
Oh, buddy, congratulations on a great season. Finish it off strong.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have fun tonight.
Phil, I got to know, all these drivers are just really tense right now. They're thinking we've got to run right next to the wall. That's the first thing that Bubba went to. And knowing that going 170 miles an hour down into the corner, an inch away from the wall, things can go bad in a hurry.
So many great storylines as we get set for this, the final race in 2014. To deliver those stories, our pit reporters, let's hear from them one more time before we get the green flag. We start things off with Hermie Sadler. Hello, Hermie.
Hello, Adam, and thank you. Welcome to Homestead. All Matt Crafton has to do tonight to win this championship for the 2nd year in a row is finish 21st. Easier said than done, maybe, at this racetrack for Matt Crafton. When you look at the stats he has at this racetrack, 13 starts, 5 top 10 finishes. Best finish of 2nd in 2009, but only 2 top 10s in his last start at this racetrack. He's got his work cut out for him. Guess where he finished last year in this race, Bob Dillner? You got 21st. We'll see what happens tonight and who wins this championship.
Championship battle on the line here tonight, but this race also important for several different people trying to make a name for themselves in this sport here with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Most notably, 3 20-year-olds. Right there, the 48-year-old. That is Mason Mitchell. He won the ARCA Championship this year. He starts way back in 18th. Daniel Hemrick, a super late model hotshot, has won in the Pro All-Star Series, has won the Legends Million. 23 years old. He starts 13th. He is hoping to have a deal full-time in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series next year. And then Ross Chastain, so good 1 year ago in the Brad Keselowski Racing Trucks. He's in the 35. He starts 3rd. You saw him. He wasn't able to pull off pit road. They finally got that truck fired. It's A-OK. Ross Chastain thinks he may be able to steal the victory tonight, right?
Well, Bob, from the young guys or the championship, I'm going to be watching a couple of Kyles tonight. One on the pole and one that's very good anytime we have a Camping World Truck Series race. Kyle Busch, a 2-time winner here at this track. But when we look at 2014, what an unbelievable year. All of these numbers are the most of any drivers. 7 wins, 6 races led, and how about the laps led? Kyle Busch wins 78% of his time this year in the Camping World Trucks. And remember, that 51 truck has an 18-point advantage in the Owners' Championship, and that's a big deal to KBM.
And Ray, they have been on a roll lately. Last week, Eric Jones dominating at Phoenix International Raceway and getting that 51 truck, their 10th win of the year. Now we look at our onboards in tonight's race.
Well, it's been 266 days since the truck race at Daytona, and that's how long this guy's been trying to go back-to-back for a championship. Matt Crafton will start his Menards Toyota going for back-to-back titles from a 6th spot.
All right, brother. You ready? Yes, sir. Horn ready here. I think we got a good truck, dude. We got the 4 sets of stickies down here, so every 27 laps we're coming. 10-4, sounds good, yeah. We'll finish this thing off. You guys just do the same thing you always do. Love you both, man.
Right next to Matt Crafton is Kyle Busch. He's won 7 times this year out of 9 starts. That's unbelievable. He'll start his Toyota Toyota from the 5th spot.
We're also going to ride along with the Ford Ecoboost onboard camera for Ryan Blaney. Again, we've talked about it. Ryan knows what he has to do. He has to go out there and win this race, and he will try to do that with his Cooper Standard Ford from the front row.
Let's hop on board with our pole sitter, Kyle Larson. Ray Dunlap said he's going to watch 2 Kyles. We're going to ride with 2 Kyles. Larson starting from the pole, looking to get a 2nd win and only 9 starts in the Truck Series.
The 2014 Camping World Truck Series season began February 21st. Central Florida, Daytona International Speedway. It wraps up tonight in South Florida. On the pole, Kyle Larson chooses the outside lane, looking for his 2nd career victory in the headline. We will follow all night long. Can Matt Crafton become the first driver ever to win back-to-back championships in the Camping World Truck Series?
A couple guys got close, got the 2nd, but they haven't done it.
The lights are out on the pace car.
Nice and
the
easy.
truck is pulled down the pit lane.
Nice and easy.
Green flag in the air, and we are off and rolling in the season finale at Homestead. Jump for Kyle Larson, teammates side by side for 2nd. How about Matt Crafton getting with it in that outside lane?
On the outside of 3 wide, he had Ross Chastain in the middle.
Kyle Busch also in that mix.
See Bubba Wallace switch over underneath Kyle Busch.
That's why these drivers love this track so much. We talk about how challenging it is, and that's certainly the case. But there's also so many options. You can take your truck down low in the turns. You can run high. You can get a good run off the turn and make the pass on the straightaway. There were 4 laps for a second there. That's how intense it's going to be all night long.
Outside lane prevails. That's the 19 of Tyler Reddick, who goes to 2nd in front of his teammate Ryan Blaney, and right behind Blaney, the man he's trying to run down for the title. You're on board with Matt Crafton.
Tyler Reddick was a one-man thrill show at Texas. He had that truck sideways 10 different times. We thought he was going to crash it. This track reminds you a lot of Texas. A whole lot of give up on the tires or slipping and sliding around. Reddick could be a fun show to watch this evening.
And he's on a roll. 6 of the last 7 starts for him. Top 10 finishes.
And I like the way that truck looks right now, too. He's able to dime in the corner, get it down lower on the corner than some of the other drivers. That'll go away, I believe. He's already got some scuff marks on the right rear of that Ford. But I think that low line, Phil, I don't see it hanging in there as the tires wear. The guys that go up high will be able to get the momentum off and make the passes.
Yeah, you can make that bottom work early on fresh tires. You're right along in this Ford Ecoboost onboard with Ryan Blaney. If Tyler continues to run the bottom and Ryan runs the top, we're going to see that top prevail.
And keeping in mind, this track has changed dramatically since these drivers practiced yesterday. They were the first thing on track this weekend, a full day of activity today, and now the high line's starting to come in. You saw it work for the man who's in the title hunt. Ryan Blaney getting around his teammate. On board here with Kyle Busch, who also likes to use that outside lane.
A lot of talk. Oh,
John West Townley.
Townley hard into the outside wall.
The yellow's out here.
First caution of the day, 4 laps in. It's for John West Townley, who shot in to the outside wall.
Looks like some contact on his left rear.
I believe that 13 of Jeff Burton was underneath him when we first caught a glimpse of him.
Maybe made some... Oh, John West is going to be sideways.
I got tagged by the 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries there. Come on down pit road.
Yeah, he got sideways. We saw that in practice and in qualifying. Those trucks get sideways up high.
Great qualifying effort for Townley. Started 12th, was 9th when the accident occurred. Now he's on pit road. 6 laps in at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Ford Ecoboost 200 for the Camping World Truck Series here tonight. Kyle Larson started on the poles, led every lap. Marks the 7th consecutive race and started in the Camping World Truck Series, where he has spent time out front. Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Matt Crafton, Kyle Busch, the top 5. Our first caution of the night for an accident over on the back straightaway. That's when John West Townley got into the wall.
You can see he's just sideways in the center, and Jeb Burton nowhere in the world to go, and that shot John West back up in the outside wall, and it's also put a big hole in the front of Jeb Burton's truck. They've been on pit road working on that, and they've taken Townley's truck behind the wall.
Yeah, they did a little work on it, but they went back out on the racetrack and flattened both right side tires, I think, from tire rubs. So right now he's back behind the wall, but Jeb Burton's coming back down pit road, Bob.
He's coming back down pit road to put 2 right side tires on it. His team took a bat and actually used it to push out the right front fender because it was rubbing against the tire. In fact, you can see the shiny part right there. That's where that fender was rubbing against the tire. So they didn't want to take a chance. Even though they got it off the tire, they want to change the 2 right side tires on Jeb Burton's machine. As far as Kyle Busch, running 5th right now in the 51 truck, but Kyle just radioed to his team and said, I am sideways all the way through the corner, especially with something in front of me. So he was trying to put some distance between he and the 4th place runner on the racetrack to help with that condition, Ernie.
Bob, championship contender Ryan Blaney is loose as well. Center and exit, especially his crew chief Chad Kendrick told him to turn the blower off the left rear tire to hopefully let that left rear tire build some more air pressure to tighten that truck up right for the second run.
During qualifying, Kyle Larson said his truck was perfect in 1 and 2, but a little bit tight in the center in 3 and 4. He has relayed that same message to his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., and he said, but as I moved up the racetrack, it got better. My question, guys, is how much further can he move up the racetrack?
Yeah, he's running inches away from the wall, so there's not a whole lot of room left up there above where he's running.
But I'm going to say he's going to take it, Phil.
Absolutely.
Whatever's left, he's probably going to slide up against that wall a couple of times. I think it's really interesting how many guys are loose, because as we see, these things seem to get looser and looser as the night cools off. So it's be an interesting story to follow.
They've added a lap. We'll get the restart when we return to Homestead. Just about to go back green in the Ford Ecoboost 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Final race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series. Bit of a slow start. First caution came out lap 4 when John West Townley got into the wall. Jeb Burton also got damage. He's now 33rd after starting up inside the top 10. Front 2 remained the same for the restart. Kyle Larson outside or Ryan Blaney.
Kyle Busch is an interesting story early, I think. No progress yet. We've heard talk down in the garage area yesterday and today that truck just isn't quite where Kyle wants it. Be interesting to see if he can make the right adjustments and get up there and contend for the win.
Ready, green flag, green flag. Got around to your bumper for a push.
Timothy Peters looks down to the bottom, it looks like. Back half of the top 10, making a good move low. You can make a good move low on the restarts. Once you get them wound up, that's when you have to go up high.
How about 4 wide for about 4th on back?
25-point advantage in the championship. Matt Crafton not content. Crossover move inside of Ryan Blaney. 88 going for second off of turn 4.
It's been tough to make it work down there. You saw Matt Crafton not able to get back in the throttle.
He's behind right to your bumper. Going to push you down the front.
Little drafting help from Darrell Wallace Jr., who now pulls out of line and drives around Crafton as they head back to 1. As it sorts out, Larson leads. Blaney is second.
How about Ty Dillon, that 9 truck making a move towards the front?
Filling in for Brennan Newberry tonight is Ty Dillon. Qualified 7th. He's already worked his way inside the top 5.
It's Ross Chastain in that watermelon truck, number 35. He's hanging right there with our top 5 as well. Solid run for Ross early on.
Okay, Bubba Wallace has been able to make a move on the bottom. Looks like he's going to try to make the move on Ty Dillon there as well.
And you start passing people down there, that's a big advantage because people just can't race down on the bottom of the racetrack. That means you can go where they're not, and that means you can make some ground.
Been kind of quiet early part of the race for Kyle Busch. Started 5th, 6th right now.
You know, one thing Kyle Busch has done by winning so many races, he's taken so many of the bonus points away from potentially these guys. Like right now, we've got Kyle Larson up front. Well, if he stays out front and Ryan Blaney finishes second in this race, there's a lot of bonus points that you get for winning that Ryan wouldn't be able to get, and that means Matt Crafton wouldn't have to finish 21st. He could finish 24th or 5th because Ryan Blaney didn't get those bonus points for winning.
It's just so tempting. We saw there Crafton to the bottom and Dillon to the bottom. It's so tempting to drive your truck hard down into the corner and hook it to the left because you know you're going to clear them going in. But look what happens on the way off. Bubba Wallace, a strong run around the top, and you just can't finish the deal.
Ty wasn't able to stay in that throttle. You see Kyle Busch getting by the 88 of Matt Crafton. You need all that room to be able to use that racetrack to be able to get off the corner, and you can't do it when somebody's there on the outside.
We've said it a couple of times, but what Ross Chastain has been able to do this weekend, very impressive. That 35 team not had a lot of highlights in 2014. He comes in here solid in practice yesterday, qualifies third, and hanging tough early, right now 7th, 14 laps in.
I love what I'm seeing out of him. Remember how close he was to winning at Phoenix last fall? He could taste that victory. And then he wound up without a ride, and now he's back in the series, and he's making the most of it.
And that was one of 2 runner-up finishes he had last year driving for Brad Keselowski.
Say another driver that's on the move early, got right behind him, Timothy Peters. Started 15th, not the qualifying effort he would have hoped for, already up to 8th.
Yeah, he did a lot of that on the restart. Just that took him 4 wide down low on the bottom, made it work.
We knew when Kyle Larson was on the entry list, he would be good. So far, he hasn't disappointed. Started on the pole, and he's led all 14 laps at Homestead. 18 laps into the Ford Ecoboost 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Kyle Larson has led the first 19 laps, his advantage over second place Ryan Blaney, north of a second. Darrell Wallace Jr. up to third. Kyle Busch is 4th. Ty Dillon completes the top 5. Championship leader Matt Crafton now scored in the 7th position. And while we were away, he and Tyler Reddick going at it pretty good on track.
There's been all kinds of battles inside the top 10 on this racetrack, and it's because of the different lines everyone's taking. Reddick has been the latest to really go up and start scrubbing against that. Well, not literally scrubbing against it, but right on that outside wall. Last few laps, he's been the 2nd or 3rd fastest truck in the field. So Tyler's doing a really nice job again this week. We've seen that young man get better and better, and I like what I'm seeing tonight.
They will be scraping that outside wall.
I know they will.
Told you Timothy Peters started 15th and worked his way into the top 10. Also need to give a nod to Joe Nemechek. Qualified 14th earlier today. Joe right now being scored in the 9th position. See him right here behind Ross Chastain. Not surprising, top 10 in this truck a couple of weeks ago at Texas, and their intermediate program has been pretty good in 2014.
It has. That truck's really been pretty good, whether it's John Hunter or Joe driving it. They've had a number of top 10 finishes. They're really high up in the owner points, doing a nice job with that truck.
Right behind the battle, going to see Timothy Peters. Needs to bounce back after a tough outing at Phoenix. What's happening there, Bob?
Definitely a tough outing 1 week ago, but remember, 4 top 5 finishes in the last 5 races for the driver, the number 17, Timothy Peters. He'd love to pick up his 2nd victory of the year here tonight at Homestead, but right now that truck, Marcus Richmond, his crew chief, tells me just a little bit too loose, and I said, man, your driver did a whale of a job on that restart. He said, man, we are trying to keep him pumped up so that he can steal a bunch of shots on each spots at each restart.
A truck that's right behind Peters feels the guy that we know struggled throughout practice and didn't have a very good qualifying run either. There you see Johnny Sauter. Johnny's made a bit of progress here early in the going, and looks like his truck is handling pretty well. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can pull it together and drive up to the top 5 and have a chance to win again.
Yeah, Johnny's a former winner here. He actually came in here 2nd in the points, chasing down Austin Dillon, and led the most laps, won the race, did everything he could do, ended up losing that championship by 6 points to Austin Dillon.
That happened in 2011, and now our 2nd caution of the night is for Mason Mingus. Here's a team that's really performed well. Billy Boat Motorsports, 3 consecutive top 15 finishes, and really since going over there to drive for them, he's been very impressive, but unfortunately, problems early here tonight. He was running 25th when he had his problem.
As many trucks that have been sideways, there's another one. Mason Mingus,
sideways.
He's not able to hang on to his, but as many of them that have been sideways, I can't believe we hadn't had more spins.
Did a nice job keeping that truck out of the outside wall, though.
I think that's something that's fun to drive these, about what's fun about driving these trucks is the big sides, the way they lean on the air. When they get out of control, you've got that aerodynamic help of that right side holding, just trying to force it back straight. Lets these guys really hang them out and keep them up under them.
And he spun, but it kept that truck from spinning long enough that kept it from going into the outside wall.
Free pass under caution goes to Derek White. And you see the crews getting ready to come down the pit lane. We talked earlier about the importance of tires here. Halfway to a fuel run, what do we expect?
We heard, I think it was Matt Crafton's team said we're going to put tires on it every 27 laps. Well, this is a perfect scenario. We'll come down, get us some tires here, and then hope that in another 30 laps we get another caution. We can do it all over again. But rarely does it ever work out where you do it exactly when you want.
Well, and the tire wear so bad here that NASCAR gave these teams an extra set of tires. If they get an opportunity to put them on, they'll use them all.
Oh, without a doubt. If we get a caution with 5 or 6 laps to go, some of those lead lap trucks will come down pit road to put tires on. That's what we saw when we talked about that thrilling finish we had a couple years ago with Cale Gale and Kyle Busch. Cale had a little bit better tire. Kyle had a little bit better. Cale had a little bit better tires, and he was able to hold off Kyle.
That was a green-white checkered, and Cale could just used Kyle up off turn 4 to try to grab that win, and it worked.
First pit stops of the night coming at lap 25. Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Darrell Wallace Jr., Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, the top 5. The first of our championship contenders that we will see hit the pit lane, Ryan Blaney. Hermie Sadler there to cover his stop.
Well, Adam, Ryan Blaney has radioed to his crew chief, Chad Kendrick. 2 problems. No front grip on entry through the center. Needs rear grip on exit. Chad said, I'll try to fix the first one first. Looking for more front grip, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel for the 29.
Bob? Kyle Busch trying to win his 3rd race here in the Truck Series at Homestead. But right now, this truck way too loose. A chassis adjustment and 4 new tires for Kyle Busch on this pit stop, right?
Loose in, tight in the center for Matt Crafton, but he had a big piece of trash on the grill. His water temperature had gone 245. The very first pit stall is the 42 of Kyle Larson. He said, you guys need to free me up. Mike Hillman Jr. said, we'll fix you with air pressure. They all got 4 tires.
That 42 team holding serve came in the leader, leads the same. It's Ford Championship Weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. Let's go to Los Angeles and hear from Greg Wolf.
Guys, what do you think? We want to take a look at maybe our Ford facts here?
If that's where you want to go, I think that's where we should go.
How about this season? 22 races, 3,290 laps, 4,124 miles. We've had 10 different winners. Kyle Busch has won 7 of those.
Had a couple of different first-time race winners. Brad Keselowski and Cole Custer accomplished that. And 35 different drivers made their first series start.
You know, when I did the football promo, I had a card. You did the facts without a card.
We didn't have a card.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
We've been talking about trucks for a long time, AA. We love some trucks, and we love the opportunity to get to tell the NASCAR fans about these guys that race them.
Glad to be here with you. Second caution of the night is cleaned up. Going back green at lap 28. Again, Kyle Larson in that outside lane. He's led 26 of 27 laps. Jennifer Jo Cobb stayed out under caution to lead 1 circuit. Here we go, green again at Homestead.
Boy, Ryan Blaney would love to get this lead from Kyle Larson to put a lap lead in the point. He's going to try to use up some racetrack to do it.
Looked like the door was going to open up down low for Kyle Busch. It shuts quickly as he shifts to the outside lane.
He's got some pushing help there from behind him with Kyle Busch.
3 wide, Ty Dillon in the mix. Darrell Wallace Jr. is there. Tyler Reddick is back at the front as well.
Wow, look at that move to the bottom by Tyler Reddick. 3 wide on the front straightaway. That's a tough angle to hit turn 1 at.
See, Kyle Busch switched over, got underneath Ryan Blaney, but Ryan's fighting back on the outside. He's going to stick his nose back up beside Busch and drive back by him.
The momentum off the corner is unbelievable here at Homestead.
This is 1 lap after a restart, trying to make the bottom work. Kyle's able to do it that time and hold on to that 2nd spot.
Busch's pit crew did him a nice job, picked him up a few spots, and now Kyle's grabbed 1 more, so he can now see the other Kyle, and that 42 truck of Kyle Larson just looks like he's got it handling perfectly right now, Phil. Able to drive really high on the racetrack and steady.
Tyler Reddick fanning out, going down inside of Darrell Wallace Jr. 3 wide with Ty Dillon, and waiting in the wings, the 8 and 88 of Nemechek and Crafton. Whoa, there goes Reddick. Big save.
Fighting that truck again, doing a nice job of
hanging on to it. That's what he's doing. He's hanging on. He's taking chances, diving to the bottom, hitting the corner at a really shallow angle, and that makes the truck really tight across the center and then gets loose on exit.
How about Joe Nemechek on the bottom trying to make the move on Tyler Reddick? Watch this now. Watch him get sideways here. Watch him inside that truck. Watch his hands.
And that's all aero, right? Just all aero sucking him around?
Yeah, and the fact that these trucks are loose. Everybody talking about how loose these trucks are, especially down on the bottom.
On the ragged edge tonight.
It's like synchronized driving, if you think about it. They go down in the corner and they come sliding off. They know their truck's not going to want to turn. And I think that you can get by with that a little bit. But we're seeing truckers trying to get by with it a lot. And I'll be surprised if we don't have two trucks get together exiting the corner, trying to close the door on a truck on the outside and not have room to do it.
Right now, kind of like a good dance, always in sync, right?
That's exactly what a good dance is.
And you're a good dancer, too. Tyler Reddick's dancing right now on the bottom, trying to get by the 9 of Ty Dillon.
And look at Joe Nemechek. How fun has this got to be for Nemechek? 51 years old. He's able to get in this race truck. He shares with his son that he loves doing so much, and be competitive. Race right with the guys that are going to win or run up front. He's a solid trucker, and it's fun to see Nemechek getting this chance.
What's going on with Joe Nemechek, Bob?
He's pretty happy with that truck, honestly, at this stage of the race. They just changed 4 tires, no adjustments whatsoever, because Joe's truck comes to him the longer he goes into the run. So this team trying to win one tonight for Jerry Babb, their crew chief. He won't be with the team next year, so Joe Nemechek trying to get the victory here tonight for Jerry Babb.
And this team, we talked earlier about what a great year they've had. They've got a chance tonight to lead here 6th in the Owners' Championship, which is remarkable when you consider Joe hadn't been in a truck in a long time when 2014 began, and John Hunter Nemechek is 17 years old, and he has grown up a lot over the course of the last 8 months.
And that's essentially a first-year team, too, as well, and sharing the driver duties with the Nemecheks.
And John Hunter's tasted victory a couple of times this year. He could see it. He had it in his sights. He couldn't quite close the deal, but it's been very impressive to watch that young man perform here in the Truck Series.
And they'll do the same thing next year, split the ride, but John Hunter turns 18 in June. So following our race at Texas early June next year, John Hunter going to run the rest of 2015.
See, Kyle Busch has moved way up the racetrack. Ryan tried to go through the middle, tried to get underneath him, wasn't able to do it. We've seen Kyle run a little bit down on the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's moved back up high.
Yeah, I think he's loose, and he's holding up Blaney, and Blaney is going to find it real challenging to complete that pass on Kyle down on the bottom, because we've talked about how hard that is to do. But he's definitely faster than Busch right now.
Blaney restarted 2nd on that last restart. Tried to make the big move for the lead when he couldn't complete it, lost the momentum. Kyle Busch went around, and now it's taken him 10 laps to try to get that position back. Let's go to Hermie.
Adam, as you guys mentioned, he restarted 2nd. Now he's dropped back to 3rd, and has really been complaining about the aerodynamics difference between being in 2nd and 3rd. The line that Kyle Busch is running is really frustrating Ryan Blaney as he tries to find his way around. And now, as we can tell, Darrell Wallace Jr. closing in from the back of the 29 is going to put a little bit of heat on him as well. So right now, aerodynamics is a concern for Ryan Blaney.
And what's tough, Herbie, is he made that daring move on that last restart, hoping to lead a lap, get a bonus point. It didn't work out, and, well, he might be back in the 4th position before too long. Darrell Wallace Jr. getting aggressive outside of him as they head off the corner. Kyle Larson shows the way, and it has been a wild night. Check the hands of Ryan Blaney. Did we say earlier, drivers earning their money here at Homestead? 3rd caution of the night in the Ford Ecoboost 200 at Homestead. It's for the 59. Kyle Martell obviously got in the wall, did some damage. He's on the pit lane. A few others came down, among them Johnny Sauter. We'll update his situation in a moment as we check out the replay of Martell.
Yeah, Carl already into the outside wall there, stays up against it. Giving the trucks the ability to go by on the inside.
Check this out. Bubba Wallace was drafting up on his buddy Ryan Blaney as they dove into turn 3 and gave him a little bit of a bump in the back. And that's a part of the track where you really don't want to be bumped.
No.
It's going to make our Ford Ecoboost camera wiggle a little bit.
Off of 4, caution is out.
Watch that Ford of Blaney's bounce around right there as Bubba Wallace got into the back of him.
You heard Joey Meyer, his spotter, saying he's pushing you. He's pushing you.
And Bubba was saying, no kidding? I feel it.
We'll step aside, get the restart when we return. 41 laps complete. Kyle Larson leading Kyle Busch at Homestead. Less than a lap before we go green again here at Homestead. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Darrell Wallace Jr., Joe Nemechek, the top 5. Championship leader Matt Crafton, solid. He is 8th. And his teammate right now, Johnny Sauter, in the 20th position. Hermie, one of the drivers that came down under caution here at lap 40.
Yeah, and he came back down pit road, and mostly because on the previous caution flag, when he came down pit road, he slid through his pit box, lost a lot of track position, so he was already at the tail end of the lead lap anyway. So they came back down pit road, made a track bar adjustment, got off sequence a little bit, but it was all because basically a bad pit stop last time down pit road.
Ryan Blaney restarting 3rd, Hermie. Here's what he's saying about his truck.
Talk to us. I don't even know what to tell you, dude. It's plowing, knocking the fence out, getting in the corner. Some laps. Next lap, I'll go in the corner and it wants to spin out. And then I get up on the wall and it's just wrecking loose.
He's got a lot of issues there, and I think a lot of it is complicated by the fact he was trying to pass Kyle Busch.
And Aaron Deuced as well, where he is relative to those other trucks around him.
Exactly, and he had a truck catching him from behind, and when he would get his truck in some fresh air and the nose would stick, then it would be loose. So just a lot of issues with the aero package that he's dealing with.
Restarts, outside lane has been great for Kyle Larson so far tonight, but for the first time, it's not Ryan Blaney. It's Kyle Busch to his left. Green flag flying again. 43 laps complete here at Homestead.
Looks like Busch gets a great start down there on the bottom. He's probably going to be able to run pretty much wide open through the center of 1 and 2 here.
Getting a push from Blaney. Ty Dillon getting aggressive outside.
There goes Busch to the lead.
He's going to be able to clear him. Now, remember, he's going to probably run the outside, which is exactly where Kyle Larson wants to run, so it may make it difficult and challenging for Kyle Larson to get by. No, Busch goes down to the bottom.
Joe Nemechek mixing it up with Timothy Peters behind him.
Larson's making the move back. That's powerful.
I really thought Kyle Busch would run the high side, knowing that's where Kyle Larson's been running. Maybe he was just content in leading that lap. Remember, he's fighting for an owner's championship as well.
Look at Blaney sideways down on the bottom of the track trying to pass Busch. Wow. Had his hands fall off turn 2, didn't he?
Boy, he sure did.
He went sideways. Darrell Wallace Jr. reeled him in. Saw Wallace beating on his back.
Ooh, sideways again, Double A.
We saw that 54 truck of Darrell Wallace be really strong at Texas. The last mile and a half we ran, he had a really fast truck there. Had some problems, but you can see again, really good through the corners here. That's a strong move.
Ooh, pulled right over in front of that 9 of Ty Dillon.
Going to get a little bit of a push for a bit. That's going to propel him by Blaney. But Dillon says, I want some of that.
These 3 trucks battling for 3rd. Top of your screen in the 54, Darrell Wallace Jr., that white number 9, Ty Dillon. And you're on board with Ryan Blaney, the Ford Ecoboost camera taking you to the outside wall.
I'm telling you, Ryan Blaney was sideways behind those 2 and then pulled around the 9 of Ty Dillon.
And I think about halfway down the front straightaway, Bubba Wallace ran into the wall. He's still trying to save his truck, even though he's going straight.
Ross Chastain continues inside the top 10. Joe Nemechek is there. Matt Crafton has now fallen back to the 10th position, was 8th on the restart. And right behind him, teammate Jeb Burton. Problems at lap 4, came down the pit lane, restarted 32nd at lap 10, and now he's knocking on the door of being in the top 10 one more time as Peters goes for a position under Chastain.
You're watching the 88 truck in defensive mode. He has not run the high line at all. He's just run the bottom. Very conservative, very steady, doing just what Matt has to do to be the champion tonight.
I was talking to Matt earlier this afternoon, and I said, tell me about your race tonight. He said, well, I can run up against the wall, and I know there's some grip up there, but there's such a small margin for error up there that, you know, I think I'm better off running the bottom of the racetrack, just logging some laps. He said, we want to run up front, we want to come in here and win this race, but we have to be smart.
Exactly, and being smart is just what he is doing there, running the low line, not taking that unnecessary chance. It's got to be a little frustrating, though, because he knows he's giving up a lot of speed, but just run some laps, like you said. Get on out toward the finish here and see how you stock up.
Drivers come to the track for one reason on a race weekend, and that is
To win.
To win. It's got to be difficult if you're Matt Crafton. I know big picture.
No,
he wants
he's
a
here to win.
championship.
He's here to win the championship. He's here to win the war. But he might try to pass Ross Chastain while he's doing it.
If he can do it on the very bottom. In a very safe manner. I don't think we've seen Crafton sideways yet, have we?
No.
He's the only truck on the track.
We had the champions press conference here yesterday. Crafton, meeting with the media, would not talk about points. We're here to talk about the championship, and he refused to do so. He wanted to make sure he had it in the bag before he addressed it. You have to like the humility of Matt Crafton, who's trying to become the first driver to go back-to-back. And Kyle Busch trying to go back-to-back. Bob, he won this race a year ago.
But he's got a problem right now with the back end of his truck. He calls it erratic. We told you he was loose earlier on in this race. Well, he's gone with that adjustment they made on the pit stop from about a 7 loose to a 5 loose. So it went in the right direction, but he says it still wants to spin out right there in the middle of the corner. So more adjustments coming for that truck next pit stop, Ray.
Well, Bubba Wallace is riding right behind him in that number 54, and he said his truck is different at both ends of the racetrack. He has scraped the wall a couple times already tonight, and yesterday in practice they hit the right rear quarter panel pretty hard on that truck. Earlier tonight he had trash on the grill, the engine got hot, and he said in the first run his truck was way too loose. So Jerry Baxter, his crew chief, made a pretty big adjustment. He said, it's much better, but I still can't get off turn 4 the way I'd like to.
I like the way that truck looks.
He doesn't seem to have had the issues that some of the other guys that are so loose have had.
Yeah, we rode along with Kyle on that just before the reports from pit road, and he was right on the edge of control, steering left and right and just barely hanging onto that truck. This is our leader, Kyle Larson. Looks like he's got a pretty comfortable ride.
Yeah, it looks pretty smooth.
52 laps complete here at Homestead. Kyle Larson out front. Kyle Busch is second. But forget about the Cup regulars. Let's talk about the title. One on the line tonight. It's Ford Championship Weekend at Homestead. What a big weekend for NASCAR. Ford Championship Weekend, Homestead, Miami Speedway. Our championship week coverage continues on Fox Sports 1. Good to have you with us on a Friday night. So far for the Camping World Truck Series, it's been the Kyle Larson show. Started on the pole. He's led 56 of our 58 laps. Darrell Wallace Jr., while we were away, went to second around teammate and boss Kyle Busch. Ryan Blaney, second in points, entering tonight's race, is fourth, but fighting his truck. Ty Dillon in for Brennan Newberry completes the top 5, and we continue to keep our eye on Matt Crafton. If he finishes 21st tonight, he will win the championship. Right now, that 88 Toyota, 9th in the running order.
Yeah, doing just exactly what he wants to do. But this young man right here is doing something special, too. He drove by his teammate and truck owner, Kyle Busch, and drove away from him.
That's got to make Kyle Busch feel good.
On one hand.
Yeah. This 29 truck, on the other hand, I don't see anything that makes me feel good about it. We're trying to win a championship, and he's driving his heart out right on the edge of control. But he about lost this truck off turn 4. You can see the back end just starts to slip around. Folks, that's at 150 miles an hour. He's sideways in that pickup truck. That's not easy to control or hang on to.
He had to get out of the throttle just a moment ago when he was following Ty Dillon as Ty made the pass. We were riding along with him in the Ford Ecoboost camera. He had to get back out of the throttle because he was getting loose.
Dillon's done a great job in that 9 truck this weekend. I know people at home are going to say, good Lord, the guy's a full-time nationwide guy. He's a seasoned veteran. He should do this, but he found out last minute. He was going to practice the truck yesterday, that the seat wasn't right. They worked on that this morning, had a good qualifying run, and he's been solid as a rock since the green flag went in the air this evening.
Look at Ryan Blaney's eyes. Trying just to focus as hard as he can.
You have to get back out of the throttle. Then the truck got loose. After that, he realized the truck was getting away from him, got out of the throttle, and then it got loose.
You kind of see the frustration in his eyes as well. This is an unbelievable shot, and we thank all of our guys down at BSI who do an unbelievable job of equipping all of us here at the track and certainly giving you amazing views like this.
He moved down the racetrack a lane that time because I guess he figured, man, I'm so loose right now. I don't have any margin for error.
Yeah, and I think that was the problem when he was dealing with Dillon. He had to keep his eyes on Dillon to see what line he was running, and then the truck's so loose he couldn't run as high as he might have liked to have, because Phil, like you said, if it gets sideways like that, his chances of winning are over. Catches that wall, does some damage to the front end.
Blaney running 5th, not happy with his truck. And the guy that he's trying to run down for the title, comfortably inside the top 10. Right now, Matt Crafton is 9th and just going through the paces. Exactly what you need to do if you're going to take home the trophy at the end of the night.
All he's looking for is a hole. He just wants to get in a hole and ride there.
4:05, good lap.
So he's got a little bit of a gap to that 17 truck, Timothy Peters in front of him, and a good gap behind him.
Clear.
Back to the 21 truck of Joey Coulter.
You know, a year ago when he was picking up that first championship, Michael, he had gapped those behind him. He had such a huge lead down the stretch. This year it's been different. More drivers involved, and his lead has been much shorter than it was in 2013. I think he's handled the pressure remarkably.
Certainly, and we would have expected nothing different, nothing less from Matt Crafton. He's such a professional. He's got his head so well into this game. He understands the goals. He just takes care of that race truck. He's led more laps this year than he ever has. He's won 2 races, and he's leading the championship standings again. Whoever's going to race for this championship in 2015 will have to beat Matt Crafton again.
Get ready. It's pretty early, but let's just be ready here. That's fine right there, Junior. I'm just trying to get in the spot and ride right now. It ain't our time to go yet.
Said it's not time to go yet. It sounds like maybe he has a little bit more truck right now than he's showing. He just wants to ride around here, log some laps. We're getting very close to the point where Ryan Blaney will lose the opportunity for another point, because
we're still green.
It was the 19 of Tyler Reddick that kissed the wall. Yep. Peter's going to go around. Crafton likely will as well.
I talked earlier about the aggressive driving that Reddick does, and this track is so slippery, and you run so close to the wall. Any slip at all on the wrong part of the track, and you're into that wall.
Remember, Tyler Reddick is here trying to win the Rookie of the Year title. Tight battle with Ben Kennedy.
We're going to have green flag pit stops before too long. 66 laps complete in the Ford Ecoboost 200. Just past halfway in the Ford Ecoboost 200 here in South Florida. Under caution for the 4th time tonight. Debris right at the start-finish line. See it right there? You're probably 5 or 6 laps away from seeing these drivers under green on pit road. A no-brainer. You come for service here.
Yeah, that would have given an advantage to Johnny Sauter and Spencer Gallagher, who pitted on our most recent caution on lap 40.
Now it swings the other way on those two, because they're going to get their 3rd set of tires.
That will only leave them 1 in the pits.
You know, there's going to be an adjustment for Ryan Blaney. Not happy with his truck. 5th right now under caution. The top 4, Kyle Larson, Darrell Wallace Jr., Kyle Busch, and Ty Dillon. The rest of the top 10 as we get set for pit stops. Joe Nemechek is 6th. Timothy Peters, Tyler Reddick, Matt Crafton, our championship leader, and Joey Coulter now inside the top 10. These pit stops come at lap 72, and they will be just outside their window to be able to go the distance.
I hope
Leaders
everybody
on pit
makes
road
an
now.
adjustment, Adam. These trucks are looking a little bit difficult to drive, every one of them except for our leader.
You're up first, Hermie.
It's a balance issue still for Ryan Blaney in the 29. They're going to work on the entry to the center a little bit more. 4 tires fuel and add some tape to the nose. Bob?
Rowdy Busch going to make a 4-tire stop right here. That truck just way too loose still for him and his liking around this racetrack, Ray.
Matt Crafton says, I really don't have a nickname, but tonight you can call me Catfish. I'm going to run around the bottom. He's safely inside the top 10. He said, give me a nice smooth stop, guys, and we'll be in good shape. On the right of your screen, you see the 42 truck of Kyle Larson. Comes in 1, goes off 1. He said, I don't need any adjustments. I'm feeling pretty good.
When you've got that number 1 pit stall, it's a big advantage. It's worked out a couple of times tonight for Kyle Larson. Came in with a lead, leaves the same, and Ryan Blaney, he came in 5th, but exiting, stalls the engine.
He's going to lose a number of positions there. You see Ty Dillon going by in the 9 truck. There's his teammate loses a bunch of spots.
We'll reset the running order when we come back. 72 laps complete in the Ford Ecoboost 200. We're back live at Homestead Miami Speedway on Fox Sports 1 as our championship week coverage continues. And one of the front runners coming in here tonight for the season finale, Ryan Blaney. Second coming in, slow getting off pit road, and well, now we know the reason why. Yeah,
stalled it coming off pit road. Then we looked inside from his onboard, and his shifter is broken, or actually the rod may have come out of the shifter. Look at his hand right there. It's actually broken. You can see it.
The crew told him to hold it up to the camera so they could see what they had there for a situation, and they see now that it's just snapped off. I don't think they could effect a repair to that for that during the competition here. I believe they lose a lap doing that.
And we've heard this a lot, especially in the Sprint Cup Series earlier this season.
Yeah, Dale Jr. actually spent some time on pit road, lost a lap, never really got it back during that race at Charlotte. We've had it happen 2 or 3 times. I think Jimmy Johnson had it happen somewhere this year.
Clint Boyer lost a shifter at Atlanta, I think. So it's been an issue at some of the tracks for sure.
There's a little bit of material there that Ryan will be able to shift it, but he probably won't be able to shift it as quickly as he normally would. So they need to alert the truck that's starting behind Ryan to, hey, make sure you're aware of the fact that we may not take off like you think we're going to.
That's the spotter's jobs, communicating, and I'm sure that's happened. But you're right, Phil. He also stands a chance of missing a shift completely and over revving that engine. So we have to be really careful.
Blaney going to restart 14th. The race leader, Kyle Larson, again in that outside lane. Second this time around, Darrell Wallace Jr.
Green.
A great restart by Bubba Wallace. He timed it just right. Laid back just a little bit.
You can see back there Ryan Blaney, he did lose a couple of spots getting going, but look at him coming back through the middle. Got her in high gear now, and he's coming to town.
Going right up through the middle. See Timothy Peters, that red and white truck on the inside of him.
Bubba going for the lead into 3.
Darrell Wallace Jr. not going away, but again, outside lane, off the corner, big momentum. Here comes Larson.
That's where this race is going to get tight. When you exit the corner, Bubba's going to hang with him down the front straightaway, though.
Larson leads that lap.
Kyle Busch entering the fray. See him in that red and black 51. Behind him, Ty Dillon. Tyler Reddick is there, and room to clear. Darrell Wallace Jr. slides up in front of Kyle Larson. He is your race leader.
We saw Kyle Larson lose that lead to Bubba Wallace's teammate, Kyle Busch, on the last restart. Now he loses it to the 54 of Bubba Wallace.
And Bubba went up high. Remember, Busch went to the bottom when he got the lead, and Larson was able to drive around the top side. Bubba kept it to the top and has held Larson off so far.
There goes Larson again.
Wow.
Just drove underneath of him, and boy, Wallace loose as he sucks in behind Larson.
That's what I hope people at home understand. These guys are they're just on the edge of wrecking every lap. That's how hard they're trying, how hard they're driving to try to lead this race. The only guy that isn't driving that hard is Matt Crafton, because he just wants to go straight for 134 laps and be the champion.
Ooh, Gallagher with a save. Allows Ryan Blaney to drive by. Johnny Sauter does the same. Ross Chastain and Taylor Mawson picking up a position in that exchange. That battle going on right around 10th.
See Ryan Blaney right there. That's the blue truck leading that pack. Johnny Sauter, the 98, right behind him.
That's an angry pack, too, isn't it?
Here's the reason why Gallagher was sideways.
Oh, had a little help.
That's more than a love tap, I think. That's a great save, though, by Gallagher.
Yes, it was.
Who before last week had been having a real good run in competition. Nice job out in Las Vegas. Won that ARCA race at Kansas. You and I were a part of, Phil. And his career best coming at Talladega when he was 3rd last month.
That was a fun run to the checker for that young man. He did a great job of getting himself in the right position to have a chance to win at Talladega.
Gallagher's dropped back to 15th. Right in front of him are Quiroga, having a pretty decent night. And, you know, Taylor Mawson has been good here in the latter part of the year. He, too, was good at Talladega. Started 2nd, finished 2nd, and also had a top 5 earlier this season at Michigan.
First time we've seen Brian Silas. Brian was able to transfer to the 3rd round of qualifying. Qualified up in the top 12. Nice job by him.
Saw Brian last night. He was talking about how much he likes driving this track. He loves running the high line. He said the thing that he loves most about it is that it's a little bit bumpy up there, and it upsets some of the trucks. He seems to think that his truck drives over those bumps better, and it could be another top 10 night for him.
Well, most of their success this season, talking about Silas, has been at mile-and-a-half tracks. Ryan Blaney, meanwhile, has worked his way up to ninth, going forward since the restart, Hermie.
Yeah, Adam, I want to kind of give you an update of what's been going on pit road since we saw the shifter was broken. Now, it did not break right where the bracket is on top of the transmission. It actually was a clean break a little bit up into the actual shifter itself. So what they're trying to do now is prepare an extension that maybe they can rivet to or connect to the short extension that's already on the transmission. So right now, Ryan doing a heck of a job to get the truck shifted, but they're hoping they can make it a little bit better for the finish, Bob.
Well, Hermie, after some early race contact and a pit stop to repair the damage on the right front fender of that truck, Jeff Burton has worked his way back up into the top 10, and he's told his crew chief Jared Prince that the truck is pretty good, really good on entry, just a little tight in the center of the corner, but a great run to recover from what was possible disaster early on in this race after that contact with John West Townley.
Burton and that group have done a really nice job, and we could have another battle for the lead at the front. You saw Darrell Wallace Jr. starting to reel in Kyle Larson, and right here, the matchup for third. Tyler Reddick in that blue 19. You're on board. You were with Kyle Busch, who's fourth right now.
Tyler Reddick doing an amazing job here. Really has the last half of this season. Right now running up in front of Kyle Busch, a guy that's won 7 times this year.
You know, I love Reddick. I love he drives on the edge of control. It's good for TV. Hangs on to her, too.
Kyle Larson leads this race. Coming in, Matt Crafton needed to finish 21st to get the championship. He's taken care of business. The 38-year-old, 6th right now. Kyle Larson making his 9th career start in the Camping World Truck Series here tonight. The Ford Ecoboost 200 from Homestead Miami Speedway. One career victory came at Rockingham. On that day, he led 187 of 205 laps. Ray, he's dominating again tonight. 85 circuits out front of the 89 in the race.
Yeah, and his crew chief, Mike Hellman Jr., has won a lot of races, 22 to be exact. He's been on the radio asking Kyle, what do you need? He said, I really don't think we need to make any more changes. This thing is just absolutely perfect on the entry. It's got really good drive off. Now, keep in mind, the last victory for Turner Scott Motorsports happened at Iowa a year ago with James Buescher. That team has a total of 11 wins. Larson trying to add one more tonight, but this team may not exist in 2015. Harry Scott, one of the co-owners, along with Steve Turner, have had some legal issues, and they have talked about disbanding the Truck Series team next year. So if Larson was able to get the win tonight, it might be the last one for TSM.
If it is, it's going to be one to remember. He stretched his lead now over Darrell Wallace Jr. to 1.5 seconds. Tyler Reddick is third, Kyle Busch fourth, Timothy Peters is fifth. Crafton is now sixth, and Ty Dillon, who we've talked a lot about tonight, spent a good deal of time inside the top 5, has drifted back to 7th in that 9 truck.
Bubba Wallace, a good truck. Just a few moments ago, I said he's really been able to stay with Kyle Larson as good as anybody has tonight. And then in the space of about 4 laps, he lost another second off that lead. He was within a half a second. Now he finds himself a second 3/4 behind.
That's Ty Dillon there. It's been a night of close calls for this truck, and the close calls finally ran out. He hit that wall pretty good off turn 2 there, so those guys are just running that close to the edge of control, and you're going to go over the edge occasionally, and that's what happened there. But still a good run for him, just stepping in to replace Brendan Newberry and giving this truck a good ride.
Yeah, when Brennan got down to South Florida yesterday, wasn't feeling well, went to the hospital. He's out now. Everything is fine, but wasn't feeling well enough to drive the truck. So Ty Dillon came over, practiced yesterday, qualified today, and he's done a nice job all weekend. Right now, inside the top 10 in 7th. Behind him, Ryan Blaney. Restarted 14th, did our man that came in as the runner-up in the championship, and really handled the restart nicely despite the broken shifter, and right now is 8th on the scoreboard.
And remember now, Kyle Larson is locked up leading the most laps, so that moves Matt Crafton's magic number to 22nd. All he has to do is finish 22nd, and no matter what happens to Ryan Blaney, he will win the championship.
Well, and a long way to go in this one, but probably going to be difficult for Blaney to even lead a lap based on where he's running and where things would likely cycle out once they would pit.
And how busy those hands are trying to keep that truck off the wall. So he definitely has his challenges, and there's only 21 trucks on the lead lap. So things are getting better and better for Matt Crafton. As trucks fall off the lead lap, he has more and more cushion.
Still 31 trucks on the racetrack, so that's the magic number. If we only had 21 trucks running on the racetrack, then he knows he would be in great shape. Right now, he still has a few anxious moments with 40 laps to go.
Biggest thing in his favor, the laps really starting to wind down. Less than 40 to go. And we talk about Blaney and the issues he's faced tonight, but his young teammate, seeing this track for the first time, Tyler Reddick, fourth, Herman.
Doing a great job, Adam. You have to remember, not only is he trying to win this race, he's also in a very spirited battle for the Rookie of the Year here in the Camping World Truck Series. His truck's been a little bit on the free side, but he had a great restart after the last caution. He just lost the third position to Kyle Busch, but really settled in right now in the top five. Having a great run so far tonight is Tyler Reddick.
Just thinking about Brad Keselowski, what the Truck Series has meant to him and his life. His parents, a big part of it in the early days, and his team's doing quite well in 2014. So is Kyle Larson. He's out front at Homestead.
Ryan Blaney gets his pit stall. He will get tires and fuel, but also a pair of vice grips to connect to the top of the shifter. They're trying to make it to the end of this race. Bob?
The truck for the 51 driver, Kyle Busch, finally coming to him. A 4-tire stop and a chassis adjustment for him, right?
Half around the wedge in the left rear for Matt Crafton. He said he's free in. They wanted to make adjustment to see if they could race for the win here. Crafton will roll off just about where he came in, but it was a tight battle going off pit road. Looks like Kyle Busch advances. Larson will lose 2 spots.
And sandwiched in between Ray, Darrell Wallace Jr., KBM 1-2. Under caution for the 5th time tonight for debris. We reset the running order when we come back to Homestead. So 102 of 134 laps complete. Got our 5th caution when debris came out.
Check out Ryan Blaney. He's working on his truck. He's got those vice grips they were handed to him. He's been trying to adjust the grips and get them on that shifter so he can do a better restart.
And we were so worried about him getting down pit road, making his pit stop, and he gained 4 spots on pit road.
Now he's working on his shifter so that he cannot lose those 4 spots when they throw the green flag. We saw him have to be a little tentative on the last restart because of the broken shifter. He did a nice job, but if he doesn't lose any ground, he still can think they get the right adjustments to this truck, we can win the race.
Watch his crew watching him get that vice grips on that shifter.
Let's get an update on Kyle Larson, who found himself losing a few spots on that exchange of pit stops, Ray.
Had a little bit of a problem getting the right front tire off as they were jacking the truck up. It got hung up a tiny bit, maybe cost him a half a second. Kyle came on the radio and said to his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., did I do anything wrong with the way I had the steering wheel turned? He said, absolutely not, but don't worry about it. We've got the fastest truck. You've got plenty of time to get back to the front.
That's how close the battle was off pit road. Those 2 Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks grabbing the lead in 2nd away from Larson.
Yeah, Larson going to restart 3rd in that inside lane to his outside Ryan Blaney.
Look at Blaney's start. He's right on those guys.
He is not giving up on winning this championship. Inside lane working out for Darrell Wallace Jr. Slides up in front of his teammate.
And you can make it work on new tires for a few laps here. Now Bubba is able to run wherever he wants right here. Kyle's going to go to the high side. Larson's going to go even higher than that. Blaney right down on the bottom.
You saw Busch got a little bit loose on the entry of the corner, and it enabled Bubba to gain his lead a little bit on Busch.
You know Darrell Wallace Jr. wants to win on a 1.5-mile track. KBM has won 6 of 7 this year. 5 for Kyle Busch, 1 for Eric Jones.
Remember, Bubba Wallace at Texas may have had the best truck, was racing with his teammate and truck owner Kyle Busch and lost an engine. Caution back on the racetrack.
Going to be the 6th one of the night.
Yellow's out. Heads up for grass in 1. Grass in 1.
You heard the report. Grass in turn 1, courtesy of Todd Peck in the 07.
Wonder how we accomplish that.
We'll step aside. Ford Championship Week continues on Fox Sports 1, 105 of 134 complete here at Homestead. Two times this season, Kyle Busch Motorsports has finished 1-2. It happened at Kentucky in June. Kyle Busch finishing in front of Darrell Wallace Jr. Happened again in September when Eric Jones got the checkered flag at Las Vegas. Again, it was Bubba behind him. They're running 1-2 tonight. Let's go down to Bob. 27 laps to go, Bob.
And Adam, both of those teams tested down here at Homestead. And Eric Phillips, Kyle's crew chief, just told me they tried something on the 51 truck at the test that Kyle wanted to run here. But Kyle has come on the radio and said, guys, I think with what I wanted to run here, it might have messed us up. We might not have a shot. By the way, the 54 doesn't have that in his truck. They have the tried and true setup, right?
What a season it's been for Bubba Wallace. Won at Gateway, Eldora, and Martinsville. But Adam, as he mentioned, would love to get a win on a mile and a half. But Bubba has been on the radio talking to his crew chief, Jerry, and saying, guys, this thing is free all the way around. I'm kind of scared about riding right up there against a wall, but that's the fastest way around this racetrack.
And that's what we talked about. There's the risk with great return running up against the wall, but such a small margin of error.
Last restart, he was second. So he was on the inside because Kyle, as the race leader, took the outside. But it was Bubba that got the advantage. Here, though, as the race leader, choosing the outside lane, we'll see how he handles it.
That just shows you how hard it is to make a perfect corner down on the bottom here, and decides that's the better way. It'd be interesting to watch Blaney. Check this out. This is his restart.
Vice grip kind of start.
This is the restart where he's going to use this vice grip.
Did a great job on that last restart.
15, 10,
Keep an eye on the truck
4,
inside
3,
of him, too.
2,
Kyle Larson.
1, green, green, green. Good out back. Good out back. Still inside.
Nice.
Just perfect.
I'd say the plan was executed.
Yeah, he went all MacGyver on him.
And now up to speed right behind the duo from KBM.
Blaney has the advantage over Larson.
Those trucks jockeying back there in the pack trying to get this all-important track position.
Reddick, a wiggle again outside of Kyle Larson. Darrell Wallace Jr. trying to grab the top spot in that outside lane.
He did not want to let the boss get
Three
by
wide
him.
top, 42 in the middle.
Tyler Reddick,
you're on
three
top.
wide to the bottom again.
This kid has no conscience.
And he gets loose.
Nearly get contact. There goes Reddick.
Here, hold
What
the wheel,
a
hold the brake, hold the
save.
brake,
He can't
hold the
hang on
brake.
to it.
Hold the brake here. You're going to be fine here still. Cautious out. You're going to be fine. Get it rolling.
Look at there.
He really didn't spin. He got completely sideways, but never went all the way around.
I thought he had it, and then finally it just broke loose. Seventh caution of the night. He was running fifth when it got away
That's
from
just,
him.
that's that angle into the corner. He didn't have a good angle, and he tried to stay in the gas.
Trying to stay off of Kyle Larson, had to finally turn the steering wheel to the left, and that's what happened. He got loose.
Go back to 2012 right here at Homestead. Larson in the 4 got into Ty Dillon, who was running for the championship.
Yeah, they were racing for the second spot right there. Kyle Larson made the move on the bottom. The 31 of James Busher is able to drive by and went on to win that championship.
And when that accident happened, the difference in the championship chase, only 1 point. Not quite as tight tonight. Matt Crafton 7th. The man chasing him, Ryan Blaney, is 3rd. Your leader is Darrell Wallace Jr. Under caution for the 7th time tonight, Ford Ecoboost 200, final race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series. The reason the yellow flag is out, Tyler Reddick. And I guess you could say it was just a matter of time because he's been working hard.
Not only could you say it, I did say it. He's a one-man highlight reel, the way he drives that truck, and it sure is fun to watch. Down the French straightaway, watch this.
By himself, single truck behind you. Going to go 3 wide top. 3 wide top, 42 in the middle. 3 wide, you're on top. 42 in the middle. 42, 3 wide top, 3 wide top. Here, hold the wheel, hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake. Hold the brake here. You're going to be fine here still. Cautious out. You're going to be fine. Get it rolling.
He just had the wrong angle into the corner, Adam, that he's had several times tonight, but this time there wasn't room to slide up. He did a nice job of keeping it off of of Kyle Larson, but Kyle did a nice job, too, of knowing he could feel him coming and moved up a little bit.
On board with Matt Crafton.
Diving inside, Johnny. He's behind, you're clear. See the guys right here trying to wreck right here in front of you. Watch the spin right here in front of you. Just stay in the middle. Just stay straight. We're still green. Keep racing. Watch.
How about
what you want to see, huh?
How about the calmness of Matt Crafton, though? You could just hear he didn't make any evasive action. Just smooth on and off the gas, right on through it. Is that Jason Aldean on the tailgate of that truck? Because he's got to be scared to death. Every which way that truck's been.
Got the ride of his life.
Yeah, there's Jason. Yeah.
And his hat stayed on through all of that. 22 to go. Matt Crafton, cool and calm on track. Not the same in his pit area, where his parents are looking on and hoping their son can celebrate a championship for the second consecutive season. Such an amazing story to tell for Matt Crafton. First career start, California into the 2000 season, went full-time in 2001. And went all those years competing full-time, never able to experience a victory. He finally got that. Last year, his first championship, and could become the first to win 2 in a row.
And hasn't missed a start since that first one back in the end of 2000.
Closing on 350 in a row for Matt Crafton. .21 laps to go.
This is shaping up to be a heck of a finish with the trucks we got battling toward the front. They've got Kyle Larson, who has been dominant all the way back out in the 5th spot. A couple of KBM trucks on the front row. Blaney battling for a championship, and a guy that we always see wind up in the top 5 late in the races, especially the second half of this season, Timothy Peters. Strong run for Peters.
Johnny Sauter somehow has worked his way to the top 10. He's had plenty of adversity tonight. Matt Crafton going to restart 7th. Ross Chastain back in the top 10. Started 3rd, spent a lot of time in the top 10, dropped out. Now he's in the 10th position, going to restart alongside Joe Nemechek, who is 9th. Green flag will wave with 20 laps to go. It's KBM 1-2.
See if Ryan Blaney can get a great start and dive to the bottom of those 2 KBM trucks down into turn 1.
He's got it. He's already in 4th gear. He's going to try to push Kyle by Bubba Wallace. How about Larson through the middle?
He said it is time to go. Push the button off the corner. Larson up to 3rd, taking Peters with him. Blaney going in the wrong direction on the restart. Kyle Busch nearly had the lead. Darrell Wallace Jr. digging back on the inside as we have our Camping World 20 to go here at Homestead.
Look at these 3 trucks battling for the lead.
Kyle Larson wants to make something happen now. He knows those guys are going to run his groove. At least one of them will, up against the wall.
Ryan Blaney working back into the mix. Ty Dillon is there. Don't count out Timothy Peters. And still in the hunt, championship leader Matt Crafton, last time around scored 7th.
Here goes Larson trying to get to the outside of Bubba.
It's not happening, though, Phil. Those KBM trucks are really solid through the center of the corner. I love the move that Blaney's making down on the bottom. You know, your truck's going to change a lot. Kyle Larson was out in the lead. It was handling perfectly. Now he's in traffic. The tendency is the truck is to get looser at times when you have trucks in front of you, and we're seeing that, I think.
Ryan Blaney is my hero tonight. This kid doing an amazing job. Ill-handling race truck, broken shifter, no worries. He is 3rd, and he's got his eye on the big prize, looking inside of his good buddy, Darrell Wallace Jr., who slips coming off the corner.
And these 3 are driving away from Kyle Larson.
Chad Kendrick's had about 3 chances to work on this 29 truck for Ryan Blaney. Looks like he has it tuned up now. We have 17 to go.
Ryan Blaney had a chance to work on it, too. He put a shifter on it. This is a team effort. Look at him. He's going to get under Bubba.
When you pulled the garage yesterday, who's good? The 4 trucks we see at the front, the ones everybody talked about. Kyle Busch, Darrell Wallace Jr., Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Larson, who was running that outside lane big time.
This is so hard to do, what Ryan Blaney's trying to accomplish. Making that pass on the bottom. Saw Kyle Busch leading the race. And he was
Three wide
sideways in
bottom.
3 and 4, so it's not a cakewalk for him either.
How about
Got
3
one
wide for the lead?
Oh, yeah.
Three
3 wide.
wide bottom.
Outside, Kyle Busch. Middle lane, Darrell Wallace Jr. digging deep in that
Go three
inside.
wide
The
bottom.
Ford of Ryan Blaney.
42 is going to suck up outside.
Throw Larson in the middle there.
Right.
Darrell Wallace Jr. going to push out front from that middle lane.
What a great job by Darrell Wallace to complete that pass.
Blaney all the way down on the bottom trying to get by Kyle. He's not going to clear him by the time they exit 2.
And that momentum may have got him because the outside lane prevails for Kyle Larson, who drives around Blaney for 3rd. Crossover move, 42 underneath the 51 for 2nd.
I think Kyle Larson would rather try to pass him on the top side, but that's where Kyle Busch is running right now.
And keeping in mind, the guys running 2nd and 3rd, Kyle and Kyle, this is the first of what is a very busy few days, running triple duty. Trucks tonight, Nationwide tomorrow, Sprint Cup on Sunday. Each of these guys would love to get 3 trophies in the same weekend. Kyle Busch has done it before. Larson tried to do it for the first time in his career.
Larson completes his pass on Busch here. He's going to heat Bubba Wallace up. That truck's fast. He's been patient in getting through these trucks, and the time's running out.
Kyle Busch tried to get back by him. He's trying to get back by him. He knows that if he can stay between he and Bubba Wallace, between Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace, then Bubba has a better shot. Kyle's trying to move him up the hill a little bit. Larson's not backing off.
And Ryan Blaney's starting to reel him in again as they go side by side.
Look at Bubba Wallace. He pulls over to help draft Kyle Busch up. That was a nice move by Bubba.
Watch Kyle Larson make Kyle Busch loose down there, pulled right down beside him. Kyle never backed off.
That's 2 of the best drivers in all of NASCAR right now, driving on the edge of control, racing each other so hard to try to win this race.
And here comes one of the best young hot shoes you'll ever see. Ryan Blaney down low. Timothy Peters back in the hunt. And that red, white 17.
I can't clear you. Still outside. 3 wide bottom. 3 wide bottom.
There he did it. Kyle Larson was able to pull ahead of Busch. Now he's going to go after Bubba Wallace.
But the advantage now for Darrell Wallace Jr. as these 4 continue to compete. Nearly a full second. Going to take some time to run him down. Back to the start-finish line. There will be 11 laps remaining at Homestead.
I think he's going to run him down, though.
I think he will, too. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do anything with him when he gets there.
Remember how Bubba won Eldora? Running right on the wall, scrubbing along the wall. That's what he's going to have to do if he's going to win this race. Because if he leaves any room out there, Kyle Larson will be in it.
And keeping in mind, this would be the 14th win of the year for Kyle Busch Motorsports and the 18th for Toyota, matching Chevy for the most all-time in a single season. They won 18 back in 1996.
About a man, Timothy Peters, just solid, steady, contending inside the top 5.
Meanwhile, while this is going along, Matt Crafton is right along there in the 7th spot, doing exactly what he needs to do here.
He doesn't want to see a caution. He just wants to ride it out. And I don't think Darrell Wallace Jr. does either. He's just hoping he can hold off Kyle Larson for another 10 laps.
I'm a big fan of a caution late, but I don't think I want to see one either. I can't wait to see these 2 just battle it out toe-to-toe. That's what's going to come.
And we usually get a caution late here. Final green flag stretch. Less than 5 laps in the last 7 races at Homestead.
This could be the caution here. Look at this.
Timothy Peters, strong finish to the season. 4 consecutive top 5s. Bob mentioned them. 19th last week at Phoenix, but they have bounced back big time. Put the 17th up to 3rd, and right behind him,
Right
Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, trading punches.
Guys, the last 2 laps, Kyle Larson 0.2 of a second faster than Bubba Wallace.
It was 0.9 of a second. The advantage now, a half a second. He's cut 0.4 off in the last few laps, and here he is knocking on the door with 8 to go.
You talked about Eldora. Remember, it was these 2 guys battling for the last 30 laps at Eldora. Kyle Larson bounced off the wall about 75 times in those last 30 laps.
He hit the wall more in one race than I ever did, which is saying a lot. That was an amazing charge to the end. And we're seeing the same thing here. This is exactly like Eldora. Only we're going to add about 100 miles an hour.
There'll be 7 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line here. And if you're Kyle Larson, you got to start calculating a plan. because you know Bubba's going to hog that outside lane. You got to find a different way around him.
And that plan's being formulated now. You see where he's at on that turn. He's been right out next to the wall. He ran through 1 and 2 in the middle of the track. He lost about 2/10 to Bubba on that last lap. So evidently when he got right up behind him, he didn't like something that he felt in that truck, so he did something different.
Lap traffic could be a factor.
Look at the run he's getting here off Ford. Really pulling up on Wallace.
6 laps to go at Homestead.
Pull over to try to draft a little bit off that slower truck. Larson is right there.
Bubba Wallace had to drive the perfect race at the finish at Eldora to beat Kyle Larson. He's going to have to do the same thing here in Miami.
He's just going to have to be mistake-free. He's going to have to be able to run that high line and not make any mistakes and keep a lot of speed up.
It'll be 5 to go this time by. Darrell Wallace Jr. out front of Kyle Larson. Larson dominated, started on the pole. He's led 96 laps tonight, but less than 5 to get Darrell Wallace Jr. There he goes to the inside. 42 trying to make it happen. Lap truck gets in the way. Wallace rallying back in that outside lane.
Bubba Wallace trying to break the draft. They're trying to move away from Kyle Larson, not let him draft off him.
Said Larson was going to have a plan. Darrell Wallace Jr. has a plan as well.
That was an aggressive dive into turn 1 that Larson made. Couldn't quite pull it off. Does he have another one in him? And can he do it down in turn 3 and 4 on the last lap to make the move?
4 to go. Wallace's teammate and boss, Kyle Busch, inside of Ryan Blaney. They are racing for 4th. In between them and the front runners, Timothy Peters continues in 3rd. Matt Crafton comfortable in 8th. Right side of your screen, the battle for 4th. We talked about it. Blaney and Busch. Left of your screen, the lead. And Darrell Wallace Jr. Going to get the signal. 3 laps to go at Homestead.
It's Toyota versus Chevy up front, and it's Toyota versus Ford for 4th.
Remember, Turner Scott Motorsports has not gone to victory lane this year. That's who Kyle Larson's driving for right now with 2.5 laps to go.
Man, Phil, I just feel like that Larson's going to have to dive into turn 3 under Bubba. I don't see Bubba giving him room to get on the outside. We might see a slide job. We might see a slide job here.
2 laps to go. The advantage that time by nearly 3/10 of a second for Darrell Wallace Jr. But you know, Kyle Larson's got one more run in him.
He's going to get some momentum off the corner. That was a great corner for Kyle Larson.
Big run for a slide job. Still 1 back.
Look at Kyle, just as high as he could possibly get, trying to get momentum off the turn.
3 attempts at a green-white checker a year ago at Homestead. No overtime this season. White flag is out. 1.5 miles away from his first intermediate win for Darrell Wallace Jr.
I don't think Larson was close enough that time. I think he would have loved to have tried the slide job that time. It wasn't close enough.
Does he have a run here? Can he get to him and do it into 3?
Last time into turn 3. Here comes Larson down low. Let's see if he can make it stick.
Oh, Bubba almost sideways.
Nearly sideways, but Darrell Wallace Jr. going to hang on and win at Homestead. Peters is 3rd. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney complete the top 5.
That's it, buddy. Bring it home. Checker
and
flag.
Matt Crafton going to finish in the 9th position, and he is your 2014 champion.
Good job, boys. Good job, buddy. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
He finally gets to breathe.
Job.
You could feel how much it meant to him to be able to take those deep breaths and say, I'm champion. Our team did it this year. Got to be one proud
Nice job.
truck owner
Way to
as well.
finish the year. Everybody did a great job all year.
Another win for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Their 14th of the year. Tonight it's Darrell Wallace Jr. celebrating for the 4th time this season. He's doing burnouts because of the victory. And the boss in the 51, Kyle Busch, can do a burnout because his team has collected the Owners' Championship. And the man who gets the big crown, Matt Crafton, becoming the first driver ever to go back-to-back winning titles in the Camping World Truck Series. Burnouts everywhere at Homestead.
We're having a party. We got the fireworks. We got trucks burning their tires off. Matt Crafton celebrating the championship. What a great night in South Florida.
And the party just beginning on Fox Sports 1. Busy sports weekend, Fox Sports Live, just a moment away. Let's hear from the crew chief, Junior Joyner. Another title for him, Ray.
What a story it was years ago. You and Matt won that Southwest Tour Championship, and he said, someday we're going to win another. Now you've got back-to-back. How's it feel?
It's pretty good, man. Be the first ones to ever do it. I just got to thank Duke, Rhonda Thorson, everybody that makes this possible, everybody that helped us throughout the years. That Triad Power, I think they might have to rebuild that one, Ray.
Crafton doing the burnout right behind us, but a big celebration down here in the 88 pits.
So congratulations to Matt Crafton, who is your 2014 Camping World Truck Series champion. Your Rookie of the Year is Ben Kennedy. So many awards to hand out. Our post-race coverage continues from Homestead in a moment. You're watching Fox Sports 1. The Ford Ecoboost 200 is all over at Homestead Miami Speedway. Darrell Wallace Jr. getting his 4th win of the season. Your champion in 2014 is Matt Crafton. We will hear from both in a moment. First, our Ram Guts and Glory. It goes to the man who finished 5th, Ryan Blaney. Oh, what a night.
Bit of a bump right here from his buddy, Bubba Wallace, early in the race.
So let's just get over here to 3 and 4 to be okay with it, right? Well, no, I'm going to about spin out there. As you can see there, Blaney loose. He had his hands full with this truck all day long. When he got to the pit, he broke his shifter.
And stalled it, lost several positions on pit road, really had trouble, showed his crew exactly where it broke. He comes back down pit road, they stick a pair of vice grips in there, and he spins a couple caution laps, putting those vice grips on the shifter, and then he was flawless on the restarts, going for the lead here.
Took him 3 wide, and he had a great day after some real big problems early, Hermie.
Yeah, Michael, Ryan Blaney, I can see a little bit of a disappointment. What an up and down night for you guys. Issues on pit road, shifter issues, you battle back, and those last 15, 20 laps were some of the best racing we've seen all year. But your emotions as you come up a little bit short in this championship battle.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. For about 5 laps there, racing with everybody. We struggled all night really, really bad. Just no grip. Just really couldn't get it to where we could run. And I couldn't believe how well it took off there, that one run. I think we got it a little bit better, and I really started to work with fans a little bit, and I think they let it go pretty good for 6, 7 laps, and then it kind of died off. But I can't say enough about these guys at BKR. They do a great job for me. Cooper Standard, Ford, I really have to thank them for a great year. It's a shame we couldn't come out of here with a win, but congrats Bubba Wallace and Matt Crafton. It was great racing them all year. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that was exciting for the fans there for a little bit. That was really neat, and I'm thankful for the past 2 years of BKR, and Brad Keselowski's done a lot for me, and I'm really excited for the future. Maybe I'll be in this thing a few more times next year.
Not many times you come down pit road in a race and they give you vice grips inside the truck, and your entire team was watching the monitor as you were trying to work on your truck here, trying to get it to go in the shifter. Tell us what was going through your mind and how difficult it was to get that done.
Yeah, that was a little hands-on deal, but I'm sure they were laughing trying to watch me get it on there. And, that never really happens, it broke right at the base, right at the weld, and we've never had that all year, and we got to figure out what happened. Might be a crack in the shifter already, but that was kind of tough, but luckily it got on there and stayed on there.
It's Ryan Blaney. He comes home 21 points shy of the championship, Ray.
Here comes Bubba! After a blown engine at Texas, it took him out of the championship. He was so dejected, but tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway, he picks up his 4th win of the season. How about that for a little redemption, Bubba? That was one of the best races I have seen. How much fun was it from the cockpit?
Hey, man, Eddie comes down and says sprints for life just because of that. Man, we lost his mom. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Love you.
Crew Chief Jerry Baxter coming in for a hug, and obviously this is a team effort.
Such a huge team effort. I'm emotional for Eddie's mom. She passed away this morning, and we removed my name. I said, take my name off. I have no problem with that. Put her name on there. And I said we had a guardian angel, and she took us to victory lane. And I told everybody, we want it more than anybody else. Let's show it. I eyeballed that trophy coming down the stage and said, that's a cool one. It's a unique one. I have all the unique ones, so why not add that to the shelf? So I can't thank these guys enough for their hard work over 2 years. And it's been fun at KBM. I'm not sure what the future brings for me, but this is one hell of a way to go out. And huge thanks to Toyota Care, Alpine Stars, Coca-Cola, Arai helmets, driven steering wheels. God for keeping me safe, for sure. My parents. This is cool. This is definitely a lot more emotional than Martinsville. It's not running like a 5-year-old, but couldn't do it without these guys right here. These guys never gave up over 2 years and came home with 5 wins and a hell of a season.
Congratulations. Bubba Wallace will celebrate for the final race of the season here at Homestead.
For Bubba Wallace, he mentioned the 5 wins, 4 of them coming this season. Much more post-race reaction on the way, and we'll take you to Los Angeles for Fox Sports Live on this Friday night on Fox Sports 1. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Dan. And there you see Matt Crafton waiting to climb from his vehicle and celebrate. A record-setting year for him. A pair of victories. First time he had gone to victory lane twice in the same season. It started in the spring at Martinsville. The fun continued a few months later when he got the checkered flag at Texas. And tonight he's celebrating his 2nd title. Let's hear from him. Down to the stage in Chris Devoda.
And it is my pleasure for the 2nd year in a row to announce that Matt Crafton is the Camping World Truck Series champion. As he climbs down from his number 88 and makes his way up to the championship stage, a spot he's familiar with, having done this as well last year, climbing out of a truck 338 times in his Camping World Truck Series career. This year he climbs out as the first ever back-to-back Truck Series champion. Making his way to the stage to hug his family, wife Ashley, daughter Elodie. Elodie was on this stage last year as a 7-month-old. Now 19 months, understanding it a little better. We'll hear from our owner's champion as well. But first, as we bring Matt Crafton to the stage, we begin our championship festivities. First, CEO and chairman of our title sponsor, Camping World and Good Sam Enterprises, Marcus Lemonis.
Matt, consistency, stability, but most importantly, maturity has brought you back here again. Your leadership is the reason that Camping World loves being involved. So congratulations again. Congratulations on another championship.
Thank you.
It's the first time Marcus has gotten to introduce a back-to-back champion because it's never happened in series history. Now for the presentation of the championship trophy, we turn things over to our president, NASCAR president, Mike Helton.
Matt, on behalf of all of NASCAR, congratulations on you and Thor Sports, back-to-back champions. We were proud of you last year. We're more proud of you this year. You guys have had a great season. Congratulations, and we look forward to celebrating with you Monday night.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Your 2014 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton.
Keep it up there.
Matt, I have to know, it'd be, you say you've done this before. This is familiar territory now, but I would imagine the nerves were still there. At what point in the race were you able to finally breathe?
When I saw the white flag, the last 10 laps were probably the longest 10 laps I've ever ran in a race car, without a doubt. I mean, my God, it was like, are you kidding me? I thought you said 10 to go a long time ago. Like I said, it's all about, I'm just the lucky guy that gets to drive this Menards Toyota Tundra. Like I said, these guys build awesome trucks, fast trucks every week. And I wanted to race so much harder than I could. And I kept asking, how many trucks are on lead lap? Oh, there's 22 on lead lap. I knew we had to finish 21st and couldn't fall past that. And I'm like, okay, the 29's racing for the lead. I can't do anything stupid right here. Like I said, it's all about these guys behind me. I'm just the lucky guy that gets to drive it. And like I said, you got to thank all the reliable Triad horsepower that we've had this year as well.
It took 178 starts before you were able to finally stop answering that question of when are you going to get that win. From there, you then won not one, but 2 championships. 12 drivers before you have been NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champions. No one has ever done what you did tonight. How does it feel?
Awesome. I mean, the greatest feeling, without a doubt, for sure. The greatest feeling was last year, that little girl, but besides that, that's it here.
How is it different, though? Obviously, it has to feel different. You were consistent last year, consistent this year. She was only 7 months old when she stood on this stage last year. Does she understand it more? How will you explain it to her, what she's witnessing and being a part of tonight?
She's starting to understand it because she loves the cameras, and whenever she's asleep and you wake her up and you bring her out here, she always puts on a show. So she loves the camera, loves the attention. Like I said, it's so awesome to be able to say, I mean, I was 2-time champion with her, first year with her, second year with her, so hopefully we can have another one with her next year.
You're going to enjoy it. All these fans here tonight, all the fans watching at home, they're witnessing on this Friday, November 14th, history, the first ever back-to-back Truck Series champion. Congratulations.
Thank you. It sounds awesome to me. I love it.
We're going to bring NASCAR President Mike Helton back in to present the trophy for our 2014 Truck Series Owners Champion as well. Kyle?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Kyle, Samantha, on behalf of NASCAR, this is a year of repeats. You got back-to-back Camping World Truck Owner Trophy. Congratulations again to you and all the Kyle Busch Motorsports. We're honored to have you as our truck champions.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great honor for Toyota Care, and Samantha and myself to be here and to be celebrating on this stage again this year with Matt. And congratulations to the 88 bunch and Matt Crafton and his whole team from Thor Sport. It's a Toyota effort here this year, so it's pretty cool, and we appreciate the honor. And hopefully, thanks, Marcus. Appreciate you guys and Camping World as well. But, you know, it's been fun, been a great year. Samantha and I, we love running in the Truck Series and carrying on that 51 to the Owners Championship.
Congratulations, Kyle. The third ownership for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Kyle Busch Motorsports was your first baby. I don't know if this one will be more expensive, but I know it's, I said Kyle Busch Motorsports was your first baby. I don't know if this one will be more expensive than that one, but congratulations.
Looks like the trend up here.
I know, exactly. Yeah, and we had Ryan Blaney come up and congratulate our champion, Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton celebrating with his family, crew chief Carl Joyner, and his 2 children and wife also celebrating. The celebration will continue here in Homestead. We go back upstairs to Adam Alexander.
Thank you, Krista. And you can't say enough about Kyle Busch Motorsports and what they have been able to accomplish in 2014. Exclamation point with another victory tonight, their 14th, and as Krista mentioned, another owner's title.
Yeah, the old record was 12 wins in one season set by Ultra Motorsports, and they shattered that record. 14 wins, guys, in 22 races.
And look at those laps, Led. Every time you looked up, it seemed like those trucks were right out front, and it was so fun to watch Bubba Wallace mature and become a guy that could win on any type of racetrack. And I mean any type. Dirt, mile and a half, doesn't matter.
We talk about the Owners Champion. We saw their numbers, and now we look at those for Matt Crafton, the first ever back-to-back champion. 2 wins this season, and he's an Iron Man. Consecutive start streak now at 338. That's the most all-time, but no question, what he's most proud of, the opportunity to hoist the big trophy here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Time now to send it to Los Angeles. Jay and Dan standing by. Guys, as we send it to you, we say congratulations to Matt Crafton.